Well, good afternoon to you as we kick off a brand new week. I'm Jurnee Taylor, and thanks for making THV 11 your home for the latest headlines. One of the top headlines we're following right now, of course, Simone, a pretty wet and crazy weekend, but is the worst behind us?
Yeah, Jurnee, the worst is behind us, and we'll even get a little bit of sunshine at some point in this week before we see more of an unsettled pattern later on in the week. The line of storms that moved through last night now off to our east, impacting southeast Louisiana, Mississippi, up to Tennessee as well. We are seeing some cloud cover left behind here in central Arkansas, with a little bit of rain redeveloping in northeast Arkansas. Now, as we continue through the day, we'll see more of a chance of some of that redevelopment of showers and thunderstorms. But we're going to backtrack and take a look at how much rain we've seen over the past couple of days. Yesterday, as you can see, the imprint of the heavier rain totals is across the western half of the state, while the eastern half wasn't as favorable. But once we got to midnight into the start of today, we kind of saw the reverse. So more of that rain going to be expected across the eastern half of the state today. We're tracking spotty to scattered chances of showers and thunderstorms with very cloudy conditions. I'll talk you through the rest of the week in that 7-day outlook, so make sure you stick around.
We've reached the 6-month mark until we're back at the polls to decide who will lead the country in the coming years. Here's a look at the latest CBS polls, which show how tight things are holding up for presidential candidates Donald Trump and Joe Biden. The numbers show a tight race in 3 swing states, those being Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And according to experts, residents there each have a common concern when it comes to both candidates.
I just asked people to start the campaign, how do these candidates make you feel? And the top answer for each of them was worried.
Both men have already visited all 3 states, sharing their views on the economy, a topic that's shown to be most important to a majority of those voters. And tensions aren't just high on the election stage. Crowds of protesters are taking over the streets of Israel in hopes of forcing the prime minister's hand to halt ongoing war efforts. That anger boiling as Israel has failed to release hostages. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken landed in the region this morning, shortly after President Biden spoke with Israel's prime minister about another possible attack against Rafah, one that Palestinian leaders say will be the biggest catastrophe in their history. Now, in response to the ongoing war, protesters in the U.S. have taken over college campuses, calling out for a ceasefire. Elise Preston has more on the ongoing efforts to control demonstrators.
UCLA was one of the latest flashpoints between pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli demonstrators. Dozens clashed Sunday after a security barrier was breached. Physical altercations took place, but no major injuries were reported. Following the skirmishes, UCLA officials moved to drastically reinforce the barricades and railings. Across the country, authorities detained 100 people at Northeastern University in Boston. Pro-Palestinian student demonstrators are calling for their schools to divest from companies that do business with Israel.
The current operations are pretty blatantly war crimes, a genocide.
While pro-Israeli demonstrators say people in the encampments are promoting anti-Semitism and ignoring Hamas-held hostages.
If you actually want peace to be achieved as we do, and if you want a ceasefire, the hostages need to be released and they need to be at the forefront of this discussion. As
commencement day approaches for many colleges and universities,
the people united will never be defeated.
Administrators at both public and private schools are scrambling to find ways forward. At Columbia University, where the country's first encampment still stands, commencement still hangs in the balance.
I personally don't view it as much of a loss if we don't have a graduation, especially with what they're trying to fight for.
Elise Preston, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, back at home, North Little Rock police are actively working to find out more details in a shooting at Shorter Garden Apartments this weekend. Police say bullets went flying early Sunday morning, striking a juvenile and sending them to the hospital. We learned their injuries appear to be non-life-threatening, and officials say a suspect is in custody. No word on who yet, but we'll update you once we learn that information. Controversy continues in the Netflix series involving the Pulaski County Jail. After earning a $60,000 check from the show, that's now being returned to the production company. The reason, according to Judge Barry Hyde, because the contract was never officially agreed upon by the county. And happening over the weekend, Arkansas said goodbye to one of its beloved former lawmakers. After lying in state at the Capitol on Friday, funeral services for past Governor David Pryor was held on Saturday at the Second Presbyterian Church, where some of his colleagues spoke on his legacy.
Sometimes people will shake your hand and they'll move on to something. He always wanted to stop and talk and know, how are you doing? How is your family doing? And those kind of things. And he was just hard to describe.
Former President Bill Clinton attended the service and shared some of Pryor's most notable work over the years. Today, Governor Sarah Sanders is making some appearances in the city of Searcy. There's multiple events lined up on her agenda, starting with a tour of the White County Jail earlier this morning. And around 10 a.m., she stopped at the Sidney Diener Elementary School, where she helped unveil the new kindergarten program. That celebration was live streamed on the governor's Facebook page. And today is also your chance to get in on the design for the new mural for Little Rock's Soma District. 3 finalists were chosen to compete for which concept will be turned into reality. You can pick your favorite through a survey that runs through May 5th. Community members can also sign up to install the artwork in June. It's going to be a busy week for state lawmakers who have some important decisions to make as the fiscal session picks back up. Here's a look at some of the big topics at hand, starting with the massive $6.3 billion budget proposal for next year. We're also watching out for Senate Bill 77, which imposes a pay raise for state employees. And lastly, 2 bills are up for debate aimed at regulating crypto mining. We're following the conversation and we'll keep you updated on the latest. North Little Rock could soon be home to a new state crime lab. Plans for the new facility are underway already, with the Department of Public Safety buying up 19 acres of land along Northside Drive. That's totaling over $4 million, and the future lab would include the latest technology for solving crime. A rain-filled weekend is filling up the streets of some neighborhoods. The aftermath of those noisy storms coming up next.
And some spotty showers are possible through the afternoon, but we see some drying conditions as we head into the evening. I'll talk you through the rest of the week coming up after this break.